Hello everyone, 5150 here. Thank you for tuning in. And welcome to another episode of 5150 Does Minecraft. Please remember to like and subscribe if you enjoy this video. Thank you. Okay, welcome to another episode of 5150 Does Minecraft. This is episode 3, and we're going to talk about building processor manufacturing, automated processor manufacturing. The processors, logic processor, engineering processor, and calculation processor are very important to the Applied Energistics 2 mod. So we're going to set those up. We're going to need to start with power, and we're going to need some inscribers and stuff. So let's get started. First, we're going to lay down the power. We're going to need 4 to start with, and then a creative cell to provide the power. We're going to set inscribers. We're going to put them here on the cable. Now we're going to set each of the inscribers for the material that it's going to use. This one's for silicone. This one's for calculation. This one set to logic, and this one set to engineering. Okay, now we need to get the raw materials in. So for that, we're going to inject them directly with export buses. Now, these export buses, we cannot connect them to the rest of the regular network, because then they'll just keep pulling whatever they're set for. They'll keep pulling it out of the network until there's none left, and we don't want that to happen. So we're going to have to set up a small auxiliary network for that. We'll get to that here in a second. Okay, we need a way to get the finished product out of the inscriber and into the regular ME system, into the large network we've got here. So we're going to wire these import buses so that they'll output directly into the main system. Now, to set up our auxiliary system, we're going to need an interface, an ME chest, which is like a single disk drive, and we'll need this. Okay, so now let's get started. We're going to place an interface there and connect it with the old network. Now, the interface is going to dump items into this crystal chest, and we'll extract the items from the crystal chest using this import bus, and they will go into this ME chest, which is, as I said, is essentially a single disk drive. So this now constitutes a separate network from the main network. So we'll wire this together, and there you have it. Now, this drive, this network here, needs power. So what we're going to do is we're going to use quartz fiber. That will allow power to pass through, but it will not allow data. So this network can now power this network without interfering with the data links. They won't interfere with each other at all. So now we want to set the exports for the appropriate materials that they're going to be feeding to the inscribers. Set this export to silicone. This is a calculation press. So the calculation press requires Certus quartz. This is a logic press, and the logic press requires gold. And this is an engineering press, and the engineering press requires diamond. Okay, now you'll see if I put those items into this chest, you'll see they get distributed to the appropriate inscribers, and they get inscribed, and then they go into the main system. Okay, so now we can build now we can make the printed circuits that are necessary to make the processors. But there's still final assembly that needs to be set up. So we're going to extend the power cable up 2 because we need this next inscriber to be separated by at least 1 from the one below it. Now we're going to need inputs. Now on this inscriber, we're going to need a number of different inputs. We're going to need 3 of them. One at the bottom, one on the left side, and one at the top. The one at the bottom we will set to redstone. The one on the left we will set to printed silicone. And the one on the top, we need to set this one to 3 different things. So we're going to use a capacity card to increase the capacity. And we're going to set it to all 3 of the printed engineering circuits, or all 3 of the printed circuits. So now all we got to do is wire it in. Now, as I said, this network of the inputs has to be kept separate from the output network. So to do that, we're going to put an import bus there to bring the final assembled processors into the main system. Now we need to isolate that from the other network. And we're going to do that like this and this. Now, as I said before, this quartz fiber will isolate the data crossover between the 2 networks. So now I can separate these 2 networks. There. Okay, all connected. Now let's test it. Okay, we need some of that. We need some of those. And we've got those. Okay, so let's test this out. Let's do 3 of those, 3 of those, and each one of those. See up here, we have everything being delivered to the finished. This is correct, isn't it? Whoops, I have things backwards. See here? Now this should be set to redstone. Whoops. I hate it when I do that. There we go. Okay, this should be set to redstone. This should be set to printed silicone. Now, here we go. Here is one processor being made. And now here's the next processor being made. Now this is the final assembly. So, that about covers our processor automated assembly. That's about all I have for you today. Thank you for tuning in. 5150 out.